This is the fastest reincarnation I have ever seen. Two girls were robbed by a knife-wielding thug. Jack tried to play the hero and save them, and directly lunged forward and knocked the thug away. But he accidentally crashed straight into the thug's knife, and was sent directly to another world. Jack had just woken up when he was held in the arms of a young mother. After only 2.5 seconds Jack accepted the fact that he had reincarnated, and the first thing he did was check his own gender. The maid thought Jack had wet himself. After feeding Jack, the maid kindly patted his back to help him relieve gas, and directly patted Jack so hard that he stood up on the spot. After hearing that this world had magic, he immediately became excited. On the way to the church, his older sister told Jack that after the baptism, an attribute panel would appear. Although his sister's stats were nothing special, she had a strange attribute of liking Jack the most. Jack hurriedly played it off. After arriving at the church, the archbishop immediately began the baptism ceremony. But what should have been a normal ritual became unusual for Jack, because after the archbishop finished the lines, the god actually appeared. Jack was directly summoned to the realm of gods. After the 7 gods introduced themselves, the goddess in charge of reincarnation told Jack that his death was not within their expectations, because even if Jack had not intervened, the 2 girls would not have been in danger. According to the setting, the thug would have tripped while running toward the girls, and then been restrained by the surrounding crowd, but Jack still died because of doing good. So the gods of Earth asked them to reincarnate Jack into this world. And when the god of magic learned that Jack started practicing magic at 2.5 years old, he greatly admired Jack and decided to give him a blessing. At this time the other gods could not stand it anymore, and all rushed to give Jack buffs. After stacking Jack with buffs, the gods sent him back. After causing such a huge commotion, Jack's father was eager to know what attributes he obtained, but Jack recalled the ill-intentioned smile the gods had before he left, and hurriedly left the scene. After hiding in a cabinet, Jack opened his status panel and was stunned. He did not expect the gods to max out all his attributes to level 10. You had to know that ordinary people could only reach level 5 at most. At this moment Jack suddenly noticed that the creator god thoughtfully prepared a disguise attribute skill for him, so Jack immediately used the skill to modify his stats, because he did not know the average ability values of ordinary people. Even the modified stats still shocked his father. To prevent Jack from being taken away for research, his father hurriedly told others to keep it secret, and even hired 2 private tutors for Jack. But because Jack was too excited, he made a teleport mistake and fell from the sky, and smashed right onto the teachers. Obviously Jack really wanted milk. After all, in his previous life he was only an 18-year-old high school student. The red-haired teacher was named Millie, and the green-haired one was Nina, and Nina was also a standard elf. The first thing they taught Jack was swordsmanship, but when Millie saw Jack swing his sword she was dumbfounded. Nina even felt Jack was stronger than Millie. Millie refused to believe it and insisted on trying, but she immediately regretted it once she started. Was this really a 5-year-old kid? Seeing how sharp Jack's swordsmanship was, Nina guessed that he had the blessing of the god of war. At this time Nina had not realized how serious it was. She believed she had a level 3 blessing from the god of magic, and planned to start teaching Jack from the basics. However, Jack told her that he had already learned everything from books, and then started showing off magic, and it was standard chantless casting. Nina could not believe it, achieving what others took decades to accomplish at the age of 5, and with all attributes. This was something even sage-level mages could not do. Nina had already guessed that Jack also had the blessing of the god of magic. Seeing the 2 teachers looking awkward, Jack handed them a towel, but this startled them again, because they saw an item box in Jack's hand, which was something only the god of commerce possessed. That meant Jack also received the god of commerce's blessing. It seemed there was nothing basic they could teach him. On the second day Jack followed his teachers to the Adventurers Guild. They decided to take on some high difficulty quests for Jack to practice, and the receptionist was a beast girl. Jack could not help but feel his heart flutter, but then a clueless thug came over to cause trouble. Just because he was 1 level higher than Millie and Nina, he demanded to take the 2 girls out for fun, but Jack would not agree so easily. He directly slapped the man. Seeing he could not win, the man drew his sword, but the little guy's constant hopping was incredibly skilled. No matter how the man swung his blade he could not hit Jack, and the man's charged strike was caught by Jack with 2 fingers. Then Jack lightly flicked his hand, and sent the man spinning 2.5 rotations away. One of the man's companions tried to use Millie as a hostage, but ended up with the same fate. Afterwards Nina thanked Jack sincerely. The one who should have been protected was him, and Millie praised Jack for being skilled not only in sword and magic, but also in martial arts. After that the 3 went hunting in the forest, but along the way it was all Jack showing off. In the blink of an eye Jack turned 8, and it was time time for the two teachers to leave. After all, there was nothing left they could teach him. To thank them for taking care of him these 3 years, Jack decided to give them some gifts. Thinking of the magic bags Millie mentioned before, Jack went to the dangerous forest late at night. He hunted an ogre and an earth dragon respectively, but unexpectedly the battle alarmed his old father. They thought monsters were launching a large-scale invasion, so they rushed toward the forest. However, Jack wiped his sweat and teleported away. When his father arrived, he only saw a huge crater, and vaguely saw a handkerchief belonging to his son. The next day Jack brought 2 magic bags as gifts, but when the teachers learned what materials Jack used, they were shocked again. Even top adventurers working in teams could only barely defeat an earth dragon and an ogre, yet an 8-year-old kid soloed them, and the magic bags Jack made could store an entire villa. This level of magic bag was equivalent to a national treasure. The 2 teachers did not dare carry them around, for fear of being targeted, but Jack said there was nothing to worry about. He had already set them to be usable by only 3 people. Anyone else would have to bear the weight inside. Hearing this, the 2 were stunned again. This could no longer be considered national treasure level. Calling it god tier would not be an exaggeration, because the gifts were too valuable. The 2 had no way to repay him, and could only offer themselves in return.
またね。会員が大人になってもし助けてほしいときは言いなさい。
To attend the capital debut ceremony, his father finally allowed the confined Jack to go outside, because it was an essential event for noble children. But unsurprisingly, an accident still happened. On the road they encountered a group of monsters attacking a carriage, and the guarding soldiers were no match at all. Seeing this, his father panicked and ordered his soldiers to help, but Jack felt it was still too slow. Without hesitation he jumped down, and cast a speed spell on himself. The advancing soldiers thought a gust of wind passed by, and his father was stunned. In just an instant he lost sight of his son. At the same time Jack had already arrived, and with a casual wave of his hand a monster fell. In only 2.5 seconds, all the monsters were wiped out. Just as he was about to ask the survivors what happened, the soldiers finally rushed over. They expected a fierce battle, but were dumbfounded by the sight. They did not know when Jack arrived. His father also rushed over, and was about to tell everyone not to panic, but froze the next second. Just like the soldiers, he realized all the monsters were already dead. It was then he noticed the emblem on the carriage. He recognized it at a glance as the Duke's crest. As he finished speaking, 2 girls stepped out of the carriage. Neither of them had a simple identity. The purple-haired one was the Duke's daughter, and the blonde was the current princess. This was truly unbelievable luck. His father hurriedly introduced himself as a border count, and said the one beside him was his precious son. But just as Jack was about to introduce himself, the princess's expression suddenly changed. Jack understood she had not recovered from the monster attack, so he decided to use a calming spell on them. After another 2.5 seconds, both girls suddenly felt lighter. Not only did their pain and fatigue disappear, they even felt like they could sing and dance. All of this was thanks to Jack. Thinking of this, the princess immediately grabbed Jack, and frantically introduced herself. The noble girl followed suit. As for why it was described as frantic, it was because both girls fell in love with Jack.
疾風のごとき勢いで魔法を放ち、剣技もかっこよかったです。では私が、いいえ私が、そうしましたら、じゃあ、私が、こちらを。ちょっと
After learning Jack was also going to the debut ceremony, they dragged him onto the carriage. Even his father was stunned by this, but reality was just that absurd. When Jack came back to his senses, 2 girls were already seated beside him. He tried to move to the front seat, but that was wishful thinking. The princess felt safest with Jack beside her, and told him to call her by her nickname. The noble girl was not to be outdone. She even wanted to sleep with Jack that night, and she was not joking. After arriving in the city, Jack planned to leave, but no matter what, the 2 girls would not let go. His father told Jack to behave. After all, he was only 10 years old. But the 2 girls ignored all that. What if monsters attacked at night? You had to know this was a city. His father wanted to say they could hire guards, but was interrupted, because Jack was the strongest here. His father froze. It actually made sense. So the matter was decided just like that, and Jack quickly accepted reality, though he still held a small hope that they would sleep in a large room, with 3 beds far apart. But that was just wishful thinking. When he saw the room, Jack was stunned, because his bed was sandwiched between the 2 girls, and then it got even crazier. To be closer to Jack, the 2 girls pushed all 3 beds together, forming a huge bed nearly 3 meters wide. On his left was the current princess, on his right was the Duke's daughter. Jack felt there was no way he would sleep tonight, but as soon as he said that, the 2 girls became even bolder.
会員様と少しでもお近くでと思っただけなのです。私たちが近くにいると眠れませんか？
そういうわけではありませんが。
では、ぴったり横で寝かせてください。私たちがいると